Now at that time God had said that when 5500 years of Kalyug will pass, चौथा युग जब कलयुग आई, तब हम अपना अंश पठाई। और कलयुग बीते 5500 पाचा, तब ये वचन मेरा होगा साचा। Which words? काल पंत छूटे नरलोई, सकल सृष्टि परवानी खोई। Means when mid-age of Kalyug will come. Kalyug's 5500 years would have passed, at that time the whole world. By acquiring the true worship, by obtaining Satnam, the whole world would do worship. God's children will recognize God and go to Satlok. So God had said that whatever I'm saying today, when 5500 years would have passed, then you will believe what the truth is. What is the reality, what our religious gurus were saying, and what God used to say. What God used to say 600 years ago, today our religious books are also saying the same, and have seconded it, supported it. So pious souls, God says that you get knowledge from coming to a satsang. That with what kind of hope you all are living here. Your own family and your property. God says that this is a conspiracy by Kal to keep you entangled. In here it is a trap, a well thought out plan. And until you understand this, you cannot do any worship. And neither can you attain salvation. It does not mean that we don't require our families at all. Just consider that these all are the children of God. You too are children of God because of your impressions of previous deeds, whatever role you are in. Whatever role you are playing, someone is a son or a daughter. Someone is a husband or a wife, father or mother-in-law, father, mother, uncle, aunt, or nephews. So this is your own creation of relations of this world and your impressions of previous deeds. And considering them all to be the children of God, so in this way, how should you behave with all these children of God? For instance, how does a servant behave with the owner's child? It is not his own, but he has to take care of him, look after him a lot more than his own child. So this is a good enough signal to a sensible person on how to live with his family in this world. Now God says the truth. God says that if you don't have a child and you die while asking God for a child, and you don't get a child because it is not in your fate, and you keep on thinking that those who have a child like son or daughter, they are very happy. And had we got a child, our clan would have propagated and would have progressed. Pious souls, these are the inspirations given by our religious gurus and their thoughts, which are against the Suksham Ved, that is spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge says that, in spiritual knowledge God says, जो राखो तो ही रहूं और मेरा के चारा, I shall live as you keep me. I have no authority on this, हमारा के चारा, और खाने जाद गरीब हूँ गुलाम तुम्हारा. I am your slave and I am submitted unto you. For instance, in olden days, rich people like businessmen, traders, kings used to buy slaves like animals are bought. Then that used to become their permanent possession. However, to sell it was a different matter. So here God says that you should develop such a feeling towards God that, "O Lord, I am your servant, your slave, and I will live the way you will keep me. I am now yours completely." Until you come to the refuge of a Satguru, if you don't have a child means you don't have a child, you won't have it. Then what do is we take someone's child, we adopt someone else's child. Then later what happens is when the child grows up, he or she works according to his or her own destiny and works accordingly. Then in the end it comes to the mind that, hey God, if this had been my own child, those old parents then talk to each other that had this been our own child, would he have behaved in this manner? That is, they even have friction with that child. So God says that this is a mistake of yours because you have only followed hearsay, knowledge and tradition. Now when you will come to the refuge of God, then He will do what He wants. If God thinks it is important to give you a child, then He will send one of His pious souls. And another thing is that the society says that those who are childless are jinx, and even used to say that one should not even look at their face in the morning of those who don't have a child. One should not get to see the face of someone in the morning who doesn't have a child. This is hearsay knowledge, false notion, thoughts of people living in the world. And the thoughts of a devotee? What does Sukshma Ved say? See, in general, everyone is a good soul of God. Those who are devoted to God have a human body, are sustaining themselves, are leading a good life. Everyone is a good soul. But in Sukshma Ved it has been said that according to the yardstick of God, those who don't have a child are very fortunate people. Pious souls, there has always been a difference of opinion and some conflict between a devotee and the people of the world. Whether this conflict remains or not, this is however the truth. Now the topic that is being discussed is that those who do not have any children have been said to be very fortunate people. But according to world's ideology, they are considered as jinx. So there has always been a difference in the ideology of Jagat and Bhagat, because of which some disputes have remained. Now the society is educated, so it will understand. God made you receive education from a child to an old man. Sisters, daughters, mothers, all have been educated. And we have made such instruments, invented internet, and made computers. So we will also make an internet of God's name. We will use our brain in this too. So here God says कि जैसे एक लेवा एक देवा दूतम और कोई किसी का पिता न पूतम, ये तो ऋण संबंध जुड़ा एक ठाटा. Like Das tells the story repeatedly.